Welcome back. On today's focus, we've got the My Expert Opinion podcast. What happened, lessons to learn, and the truth exposed. Well, we're not here to judge. Shout out to Matt Hoffer and the whole My Expert Opinion. But this is my expert opinion on the My Expert Opinion podcast. These are lessons that I believe all of us should learn from. So takeaways from this discussion today is what we all can learn from what transpired. Where do we go from here? Because it was a wonderful podcast that has inspired a lot of us. Considering Math coming back from a battle rapper to an aspiring rapper to a content creator and a podcaster, it's an amazing journey. So why did the My Expert Opinion podcast end or self-destruct, if I may say? Number one, I believe it was the departure of the original co-hosts. I know it as a platform has gone through about 3 phases. There was the original set. If you check on their platform, you would see the interview they did with Nori from Drink Champs. You see the original cast members that were there. Then came the era of Esso and Heineken, and producer Space Ghost as well. When that happened, that obviously created a friction, but all this can be attributed to the $2.7 million deal, So, there was a lot of speculations, a lot of rumors that they had a deal with Revolt and all of that. But, with money, there's always division. So as a businessman or as a content creator, if you have a platform that has more than one host, make sure that your terms are defined properly. And the second thing is the loss of the studio space for them to do the interviews. So I think as a business or as a brand, they should have evolved from just being at the barbershop to creating probably a virtual space, with the same barbershop feel. Or probably they should have bought over the space, but maybe they were not making enough. I'm not sure, who am I to judge? But at the end of the day, as a business, there should have been a contract that secured their stay on the property. I'm not sure how to go about that, if they had a lease or anything of such with the landlord. I know there were some racist remarks that were raised, some disputes with the landlord. That's also one of the things. And then another third reason I believe the podcast had to end is that Math has been trying to get back into music. You see, some of you that are diligent followers, you will see that most of the times you would put songs, before the podcast starts, just to get back in the game. And most of the podcast viewers and members didn't like that. And on several occasions, people would skip to just get to the podcast. So I think also that was like a conflict of interest. I think Math should have probably created a separate platform for his music and not have the two conflict or coexist on the same platform. I think that also created a sort of like a division on his focus. But he has always expressed that his first love was music. So I believe he's trying to get back to that, but then at the expense of the podcast. So, if you weigh the options, I'm not sure if he's got a deal or he's trying to go independent. But I mean, you can always have one or two streams of income. So here we're just discussing, lessons learned from whatever transpired. We're not here to judge. I know he's his own man, and the best thing we can do is learn from his mistakes so that we can make better decisions. Practical lessons we can learn from the Matt Hoffa show, and what transpired is team dynamics is everything. That's point number one. The lesson that we can take from it is that success often depends on the internal chemistry of the members and the co-hosts. And when Esso and Heineken and Bigger and Space Ghost left the show, the energy shifted. It was no longer the same because every member brings an element to the table, which made the platform more interesting. It's just like the Joe Budden podcast. So if you are a podcaster or a business person that is trying to set up a podcast or anything that involves 3 or 4 hosts or members or directors, make sure you vet your team members, not only for talent, but also for shared value and long-term commitment. Have clear contracts and expectations in place, and define your roles so that there is no conflict of interest. And that will safeguard and secure you as the owner and director for future purposes. Should anything come up, human beings are always like that. They change over time. But before they can switch up on you, make sure your paperwork is in order to protect your name, protect your legacy and investment. All right, number 2, you need to control your infrastructure, because losing of the barbershop space highlighted the importance of owning and securing leasing for the production environment. So this is also a bad business choice on their end, but I hope they learned their lesson to ensure that paperwork is important. Because in this case, if there was any paperwork in place, I'm sure legal action should have helped or sufficed to make sure that the platform is still going. But now it's just a matter of he say, she say, and that's not a good business practice, and it speaks on the business acumen of the Hoffa podcast. All right. Number 3 is don't rely on one personality or format, because the show was heavily centered on Matt Hoffa, and when he shifted his focus to music, the show's continuity became uncertain. So we need to make sure that you create diversity on the platform. He should have created that as a separate program. I mean, there's membership and everything, so I'm sure he could have created like playlists or programs and run it like a TV station. That would have helped to keep everyone on the show. But I think there was a conflict of interest, and when it comes to creatively, disagreements are inevitable. So he would have optimized Esso and Heineken. Now they're running Bag Fuel, which I believe that should have been a part of my expert opinion, but as a separate program, but running concurrently, simultaneously. That would have made sure that everyone, creatively, they are trying to explode and obviously run their own business and hold their own. So diversify your content and personnel so that the business isn't vulnerable to one person's career choices and life changes. Don't forget that. Number 4, transparency builds trust. I know there's been rumors and everything, but lessons learned from these is that irrespective of whether the $2.7 million deal was fact or fiction, it caused friction and misalignment and mistrust at the same time. So in both partnerships, with audience clarity around deals, profits, and roles. There was a lot of speculations and division. So transparency is the key to trust. Remember that if you are a content creator or you're trying to build a platform of your own. Business insight. What do we learn from this? Brand ownership and licensing. Matt Hofer maintained ownership of the My Expert Opinion. That's good that he did that, because at the end of the day, when all these people are breaking away and everything, he still retained the sole ownership of the platform, which speaks volumes of his brain capacity. That's a good move. That's a good look. So we're not just trying to discuss his downfall. We're also trying to discuss, lessons that we can learn from him, good things. So we're picking the bad and the good so that we can all learn from it. So as a business owner, you need to maintain ownership of any media or product or any product-based venture. This will ensure the long-term value and licensing power. So whether Esso or Heineken or whoever or Bigger or whoever has left, the content that they did together, Matt Hofer still owns copyrights to it. He can sell it, he can earn from it from YouTube, and so that's a good look for Matt Hofer for that, because then there won't be fights over rights and ownership and all of that. It's clear Matt owns the whole platform. Okay. So, and then modernization versus vision. Despite the podcast being lucrative, Matt chose to return to music, which is his passion. So he's focused on his mission, and we wish him well with what he's trying to do. And as a business person, you need to align your ventures with your core mission. Money is important, but fulfillment fuels sustainability. So endeavor to choose your path to what drives you the most, where your passion is, and make it your mission. And then another point that we can take away from it business-wise is adaptability in the creator's economy. Matt may relaunch, reformat, and show again. It's not over, but pivoting. So it's just a reboot. It will give him time to, reflect, self-examine, see where he missed his steps, and if he's wise, he'll come out great on top. So it's not the end, it's just the beginning. So wish Matt all the best. And as a business person, you need to learn how to adapt. Digital brands need to be fluid. Trends shift, formats evolve, so keep testing, reinventing, and stay close to your audience. So I would implore Matt not to stop recording, not to stop broadcasting, not to stop uploading content. Please do update, keep your subscribers and viewers up close and updated, so that you don't lose subscribers or members from the speculations. Control your narrative. That's all I'm trying to say. So another thing worthy of note is multiple revenue streams matter. Although the podcast was doing great, Matt is still trying to diversify into music, which is a good thing. I mean, multiple streams, it's good. The show was highly dependent on views and guests. With controversy or host changes, those streams, risk drying up. At the end of the day, every story dries up. That's all I'm trying to say. So build multiple streams of income, merch, which I'm sure Math has merch on their platform. Live shows are also important. Sponsorships, memberships, to weather the downturn. So like Drink Champs, they've got, partnerships, people bring their liquor and the brands and all of that. And then the other advice I would give Math is learn from Nori and the Drink Champs. They don't have one space. They have everywhere Nori and DJ FN is Drink Champs. That's smart. So they're not dependent or confined to a space. They can be anywhere in the world and do the Drink Champs. Like they did with Dre and them, they had to do it out, So wherever they are, they can do the Drink Champs. So I think Math should learn from that and try and pick a brain or two from Nori and DJ FN. All right, final thoughts. Any closing? My Expert Opinions journey is a case study on how success in the content space is so much about business infrastructure and team management as it is about talent. So it's not just talent alone. Infrastructure, team management, business infrastructure is key. So every entrepreneur and creators alike, we need to learn, me included, the value of protecting your platform. Learn from leading transparently and preparing for inevitable pivots. People change like the weather. When they do, best be prepared. Get your paperwork ready, define your terms, define your ground, have agreements in place. That way, when things go south, you've got a backup. Paper trail. Don't forget that. Thank you for those of you that have subscribed already to this platform. We're not here to gossip. This is not judgmental. This is facts over sentiment. And we pick in the brain of these successful people and celebrities who had fame or have fame and what it did with it. Learn from their choices, and we're trying to make better decisions from it. So I hope you were blessed by this. And if you would like me to do more of these videos, kindly like and subscribe so that we can keep producing and making these contents. Thank you, and give this video a thumbs up and drop your comments in the comment section. Thank you.